Hi guys, my name is McKenna and you're watching Big Mac's YouTube channel. So hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Super exciting stuff, I know. So today's video is going to be all about my acro and tumbling recruiting process. It's either going to be titled something like how I got recruited for acro and tumbling or my recruiting story for acro and tumbling. Yeah, just a little bit of like a disclaimer before this video goes out into the interwebs. My recruiting story is going to be very different from most acro and tumbling recruiting stories because it was in the year of 2020. So basically all that means is that half of my recruiting process was during a pandemic. So I didn't get to do certain things and certain things happened because of the pandemic, and it just changed how things went. So we are just gonna jump right on into this, and I'm super excited for you guys to hear it. So I'm literally just gonna start from the very beginning of when I found out about acro and tumbling to where I signed, if you can't see the little banner up there about what school I'm going to. So if you can't see it, then we're just gonna wait to tell you till the end. But if you can't see it, you know where I'm going. So I've done TNT or tumbling and trampoline since I was 4 years old. I'm 18 now, so that's a very long time. But that was the sport that I grew up in. That's my background. In acro and tumbling, I guess you could say I'm a tumbler. So I found out about acro and tumbling in 8th grade whenever one of my friends went to Hawaii Pacific University. So that's where basically my gym found out about the sport, because other than that, it had been kind of like on the down low. And I do want to point out the sport is very new. It is, I think, a little older than 10 years. So it's still a relatively new sport. As soon as we found out about it, we signed up for a Baylor camp. So if you don't know what Baylor is actually the #1 ranked school, and they have camps every summer, except for the pandemic year. So I went to that camp, loved it, had an absolutely amazing time. So this was the summer between 8th grade and freshman year. So then freshman year rolls around and I decide to take a small break from TNT because I wanted to try out high school gymnastics, which was all around. So bars, beam, vault, floor, all of that stuff. So I did that for my freshman year. Didn't really have anything to do with acro my freshman year. I just did all around basically. So then sophomore year rolls around and I decide to leave the high school that I was at. And with doing that, I was able to go back to TNT. So I left that high school, started online school. I did online school before it was like a cool thing because of the pandemic. So I started competing TNT again my sophomore year. Not a lot that year is super interesting, except for the fact that I was state champ as a level 9 on floor. And I do want to point out I only did floor that year. We knew I was going to go into acro and tumbling, so doing tramp and double mini, it didn't seem super beneficial. Plus, I didn't really like those two. I really only liked floor. So I stopped doing tramp and I stopped doing TNT. And what? I didn't stop TNT. I just stopped tramp. I stopped tramp and I stopped double mini. And then I just competed floor. So I was a state champ, which was super exciting. And then my coach and I decided together that I wanted to move up to be level 10 for regionals that year so that I could try to go to nationals as a level 10. Unfortunately, I fell down on both of my passes, which was so sad. So I didn't qualify to go to nationals that year. So like just a little tear. There were lots of tears shed because that was the first year since I was like 9 that I didn't qualify to go to nationals, which was so sad. But it's okay. We're moving on. It doesn't still sting or anything. So now we enter the summer of 2018. So this is the summer that recruiting starts. It starts the summer of your junior year. The summer before your junior year. I think I put that into right words. So recruiting for D2 and D3 schools, I believe it starts in July. I could be very wrong. And then recruiting for D1 schools starts in August. So I do my thing. I send out all of my emails to all of my schools that I'm thinking about going to. So schools like Baylor, Oregon, Azusa Pacific, Hawaii Pacific. I sent emails to a bunch of schools and I just can't remember which ones I sent them to right now, but I sent them to a bunch basically. And that summer there was also a, my brain. Oh my gosh, it wasn't the summer of 2018, it was the summer of 2019. Haha, we're gonna scratch everything that I just said. So the summer of 2019 rolls around and that is when recruiting has started. It's in full swing. So recruiting's in full swing summer of 2019, not summer of 2018. There's also another Baylor camp that I go to. So with that Baylor camp, that was a super successful Baylor camp. I went to 2 that summer. They always have 2. The first one, like, it could not have gone better. Hold on. I have an award from that camp for best attitude. I was pretty proud of myself. So that camp went really well, and that's where I actually got noticed, A, by Baylor, B, by Trine. So Baylor, again, D1, best in the country. Trine, D3, is just now starting to compete, and they had their coach there, and she's an ex-Baylor athlete. Love you, Katie. You were the best. She's an ex-Baylor athlete, and she now coaches Trine University. So if you guys are thinking about going to school, Trine would be great. Katie is awesome. We love you, Katie. We love you so much. So I go to a second camp. Nothing super exciting happens at that camp. It's still a great one. I didn't get any awards or anything. So the next exciting thing that happened in my recruiting process was October of 2019. And there was a combine in Austin, Texas, close to Austin, Texas, somewhere like that. So if you don't know what a combine is, it's basically where you just get to tumble and show off for coaches. Like they'll come in from around the country or around the state and you just get to show off. So I don't know if there are combines for basketball or football or anything, but it's basically like a practice and coaches come and watch you. So again, super exciting. That combine was amazing. Like literally was just like, I literally cannot put into words how amazing it was that I went to this combine. I think the only school that I was interested in that didn't, or the only schools that I was interested in that didn't show up were Oregon and Azusa Pacific. So otherwise, all the schools that I wanted to go to showed up at this camp. So Baylor, East Texas, Hawaii Pacific, like it was great. So then at this combine, coach asked my mom if I would be willing to come and train with them. So if you don't know, I live in Upper West Texas. Austin is like Southeast Texas kind of. So they were basically asking me to travel 6-7 hours every weekend to come and train with them. And even though that seems like a huge hassle, don't get me wrong, it was hard, but it was so incredibly worth it. So I became a travel athlete in October of 2019, and it was one of the best decisions I could have ever made. Not only did I get to meet a bunch of new people who were interested in the same thing I was and make friends, and now I know a bunch of girls who are going to other schools, but I learned so much. Like, you guys know I'm a tumbler. I tumble, so I already knew how to tumble pretty well. I was already doing hard tricks for tumbling, but I had no experience with basing or flying or anything like that other than junior high cheer. So like, it was a really awesome experience. I'm super grateful. This was the gym, so if you guys are interested in maybe finding a gym and you live in Austin, Texas, it's a great one. So maybe if you guys want it, I'll like make a whole future video on being a travel athlete. So at this point, we're talking about like November through to February. So this is where it's really just like grind time. So you're sending out videos to every school you can think of. They're asking for specific things. You're sending them specific things. Phone calls are starting to happen. So if you're interested in school and they're interested in you, they'll set up a phone call with you and it's fun. It's kind of like an interview. So phone calls, videos, all of that stuff is going out February rolls around and some schools are starting to make cuts. So at this point, I get cut from Oregon, which is fine. Oregon was not my top pick by any means. It still stings whenever a school is like, we don't want you. No, we're good. So like, that's not fun, but it was okay because obviously like God had a plan. I'm ending up exactly where I need to be. But yeah, I got cut from Oregon at this point. Also, at this point, I go out and I visit Azusa Pacific. This is before the lovely pandemic hits. So I go out, I visit Azusa. Let me tell you, I fell in love with that school. Literally, we got on campus and I was like, oh, I love it. This is where I need to be. And like, the crazy thing is that, like, I'm just talking about aesthetics really quick. It was February, everything was dead, and it wasn't cold, but it was like, it wasn't California weather. So I fell in love with it without all of the like pluses. Plus they've got great food there. Love it. Also in February, I went to junior day at Baylor. So basically all that was is that you went and you talked to some coaches, you watched some girls go, you got a tour of the school. So it was basically like, I don't even know what you would call it. It was just a day where we went and we saw and we did. Now, what day hits? March 13th. So this is when the pandemic hits. It's not in full swing yet, but it's pretty much in full swing. So this is, again, where my recruiting story is going to differ greatly from anyone else's who wasn't in the class of 2020 or 2021. So basically, interaction doesn't stop, but it kind of stops. We, as athletes, aren't able to get into our gym. We're not able to tumble. We aren't able to practice. So sending videos in is ridiculously hard. Obviously whenever you don't have a gym to practice in, and like it's not necessarily safe to be tumbling on grass. You're gonna roll an ankle, you're gonna break something, and I didn't really want to take that risk. So at this point, I'm no longer traveling down to Austin, of course, because we want to be safe and we want to protect everyone. I'm no longer going to my gym in my hometown, so basically all I could do at this point was focus on my physical health, focus on feeding my body the right foods, and focusing on staying as fit as I could. Quarantine snacks hit different though. It's like, it's just a fact. So I did the very best that I could. My mom's friend is a trainer. She started training me that summer and I got pretty fit, guys. Like, it was pretty impressive. Am I that fit anymore? No. Are we working towards it again? Yes. So we kind of coast through the summer and gyms are open back up again. At least in Texas, they start opening back up again. So then I'm able to go back in. Of course, we take all the precautions. We wear our mask when we need to. We spray everything down. Like, we're very safe. Like, nobody has gotten COVID from my gym as far as I know. So we're being very safe. But we get to go back in. We get to tumble. So when I say grind time hit, y'all. This was a whole nother level of grind because we had gone four or six months with no videos being sent in, with barely any interaction from coaches. So at this point I was like, please don't forget about me, please don't forget about me. So I'm gonna backtrack slightly because I just skimmed over it and I don't really know how I did. But the summer of quarantine, all the camps get canceled, yada, yada, yada. With no camps happening, lots of schools start making cuts, again, because they don't need to see you because it doesn't matter too much. So because there are no camps, Baylor's making cuts, I get cut from Baylor. Again, like, Baylor was not my top choice. It's not really where I wanted to go, but it still doesn't feel good getting cut from any school, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. So again, grind time, we're sending videos in, we're doing everything that we can to have these schools notice us. So at this point, official visits are completely canceled. No one's going on them, which was so sad. It hurt my heart because, like, you work so hard for so long trying to get these schools to notice you, then they notice you and they want you to come and you get to stay with the girls and you get to have a ton of fun and you get your tryout. And honestly, it was a great thing for me because I didn't end up having to have a tryout, which would have made me just a nervous wreck because it's like, oh, I hope they like me, oh, I hope it goes okay. So official visits did not happen this year because of the pandemic, so fun time. So at this point, like, we kind of been coasting through the pandemic, and cases are going down, it's getting better, so certain schools are starting to let like one athlete visit per week or something like that. So you're not getting your official visit, but you're still getting to go and visit schools. So at this point, I visited Azusa, Baylor, but we're not going to Baylor because we got cut. And now I'm going to visit Converse College. So Converse College, all girls, South Carolina. It's actually a really cute college, and their color is purple, so what's not to love about that? So I tour the school, I like it. The only issue with that school was that they don't have a communications program, and that's what I really wanted to major in. They did have an interior design major, which I was interested in, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So that school kind of gets pushed to the side because they don't really have the major that I need, and that's pretty important whenever you're trying to decide on a college, that you can actually get the degree that you need to go get the job that you want. So now we're rolling into October, like end of September, middle of October. That's where this range is right now. So offers start rolling in. So I get offers from Trine University, East Texas Baptist University, Arizona Christian University, Converse College, Azusa Pacific. So the school that I ended up choosing, the banner back there, was Azusa Pacific. I told you guys, I fell in love with that school. I fell in love with everything that they stood for. Their whole motto was God first, and it made a huge impact on me. And the girls were so incredibly nice. The coach is so incredibly nice. My watch went off. Sorry. But yeah, it was everything that I could ask for in a college and more, and I know it's exactly where I'm supposed to be. If you guys have any questions about Azusa, please feel free to comment them, DM me on Instagram. All the links are going to be down below, and if you guys have any questions on acro and tumbling, again, y'all can DM me, comment, whatever you want, but I'm also going to put a couple of resources down below about acro and tumbling because I know I was super curious, and I'm definitely gonna make videos about what acro and tumbling is. I just wanted to start with this one. But those resources that I'm gonna put down are the ncata.com, like their website, and then their Instagram, which is at the ncata. I think. I think I got that right. But I'm gonna put them down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely put your video requests down below because I definitely want to be making videos that y'all want to see while staying true to what this channel is about. Oh, and if you didn't know what this channel is about, it's all about acro and tumbling, Disney, because we might be going to Disney for a graduation trip in May, as long as it's legal and everything. And my life, so vlogs, videos about me personally. That's a stomach. Y'all don't need to see a stomach. But yeah, I hope that you guys all have an absolutely fantastic day. I think that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for coming. If you guys need to know anything, please reach out. I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk about the sport. That's why I made the channel. It's super exciting, and I'm super excited to see where the class of 2022 goes and how everything works out for them. Woo!